Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I'm Mike Egobadio. Here are our top stories. Federal government launches digital HR platform for civil servants. Lagos building collapse, death toll rises to 8, 26 rescued. Appeal court defers ADC deregistration case to July the 7th. And EU GIZ donates 200 kV solar power facility to Standard Organization of Nigeria. And now the foreign scene, neighbors join rescuers. Venezuela quake toll hits 235. And talking sports, 6 Nigerians selected in 2026 NBA draft. Now to the news in full. The federal government on Thursday, June the 25th, unveiled the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System Human Resource Employees Self-Service Application and launched a nationwide sensitization program for the newly approved Public Service Monitoring Program. Now, the initiative was presented in Abuja as part of the activities marking the 2026 Civil Service Week. PAM Secretary of the Career Management Office in Kiruka, Nebo, described the two reforms as key steps towards modernizing the federal civil service through digital transformation and leadership development. He said the new HR platform will simplify personnel processes, reduce administrative delay, and improve efficiency across ministries, departments, and also agencies. She also said the Public Service Monitoring Program will strengthen succession planning by promoting knowledge transfer from experienced civil servants to emerging leaders. She noted that the policy is designed to build a more capable workforce and preserve institutional memory across the public service. The federal government says both initiatives are part of broader reforms aimed at creating a modern, technology-driven, and citizen-centered civil service. It also called on head of ministries, departments, and agencies to fully implement the program to improve service delivery and strengthen accountability. Away from that, at least 8 people, including an infant girl, have been confirmed dead following the collapse of a 3-story building complex in Alakija area along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway on Thursday, June the 25th. Now, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency said 26 other persons were rescued alive as search and rescue operation continued at the scene. The SEMA said emergency respondents were deployed immediately after the building collapsed, with officials from the Lagos State Building Control Agency and other agencies working together to rescue victims trapped beneath the rubble. Heavy-duty equipment was also brought in to support the operation. The agency said the casualty figure increased as rescue effort proceeded, with 8 bodies recovered by Thursday afternoon. Authorities believe more persons may still be trapped as the building housed shops and business premises that were occupied when the structure gave way. The Lagos State government has urged residents to stay away from the area to allow emergency workers unhindered access to the site. Rescue operations remain ongoing, while authorities are expected to investigate the cause of the collapse. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has ordered the immediate closure of the internally displaced persons camp in Bama local government area, citing growing insecurity and the infiltration of criminal elements. The governor announced the decision on Thursday, June the 25th, during an assessment visit at the government secondary school IDB camp in Goza. Now, Zulum said the decision followed a screening exercise that revealed rising criminal activities within the camp, including the alleged infiltration of Boko Haram and ISWAP members. He added that displaced persons will be resettled in their communities based on the localities to improve security and ensure proper integration. The governor also disclosed that Goza IDP camp would be closed within the next 2 to 3 weeks, noting that improved security across many communities previously occupied by insurgents have made resettlement possible. Zulum further expressed concern that many residents have returned to IDP camps solely to receive humanitarian aid, revealing that authorities identified thousands of people who were no longer genuinely displaced. He said the government is committed to ensuring that future resettlement efforts are safe, sustainable, and free from abuse. Now, talking politics, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has adjourned until Monday, July 7th, the hearing of an appeal challenging the proposed deregistration of the African Democratic Congress, Accord Party, and 3 other political parties. The case was shifted on Thursday, June 25th, to allow all parties file and exchange their legal briefs before the substantive hearing. Now, counsel to the Accord Party, Musubo, Adetumbi, SAN, told the court that the record of appeal and the Federal High Court judgment were only made available early this week, prompting a request for a short adjournment. The application was not opposed by any of the parties. The appeal follows the Federal High Court ruling directing the Independent National Electoral Commission to deregister the African Democratic Congress, Action People's Party, Action Alliance, Accord Party, and the Zenith Labour Party for alleged failing to meet constitutional requirements for continued registration. INEC has opposed the deregistration, arguing that the affected parties remain qualified because they had won elective position in previous elections. The electoral body is also relying on an earlier Court of Appeal order that stayed the execution of the Federal High Court judgment pending the outcome of the appeal. Still talking politics, the Labour Party has endorsed the proposed establishment of state police following the Senate passage of the Constitutional Alteration Bill. In a statement issued on Thursday, June the 25th, the party has described the legislation as a major step towards addressing Nigerians' growing security challenge by bringing policing closer to local communities. Labour Party National Publicity Secretary Ken Osubua commended the National Assembly for advancing the bill and said the current centralized policing system has struggled to meet the country's security needs. He argued that decentralizing policing will improve law enforcement and enhance community safety. While acknowledging concerns that state police could be abused by governors, the party said the constitutional safeguard included in the amendment provided adequate checks to ensure accountability and prevent misuse of the proposed security structure. The Labour Party also urged governors and state House of Assemblies to support the bill as it moves to the next stage of the constitutional amendment process. The legislation requires approval by at least 24 state assemblies before it is being sent to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his assent. Away from politics, now talking business. The European Union and the German Development Agency had donated a 200 kV solar photovoltaic power system to the Standard Organization of Nigeria. Now, the facility was commissioned in Lagos on Thursday, June the 25th, as part of efforts to support Nigerians' transition to cleaner and more sustainable energy. Now, speaking at the event, the head of the corporation of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Musulmon De Luca, said the project reflects the European Union's continued partnership with the Standard Organization of Nigeria to promote innovation, improve energy performance, and also strengthen domestic trade through sustainable energy solutions. Director General of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, Ifeanyi Okeke, described the project as a major milestone in the agency cooperation with the Nigerian energy sector program. He said the partnership has strengthened renewable energy standard, laboratory infrastructure, and energy efficiency initiative since 2018. Okeke also added that the solar facility will significantly reduce the agency's energy costs while supporting the development of Nigerian first energy efficiency testing center. He said the project will also help ensure that only energy-efficient electricity products are approved for the Nigerian market. The federal government had officially handed over the Akanu Ibom International Airport in Enugu to Aero Alliance Limited under a public-private partnership agreement aimed at upgrading and also managing the facility to international standard. The concession announced on Thursday, June the 25th, will see the private operator finance, rehabilitate, expand, and manage the airport with the goal of improving safety, efficiency, and passenger experience while developing it into a major aviation hub in Nigeria's southeast region. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo described the deal as a milestone in efforts to modernize Nigeria's airport through private sector participation. He said past attempt to concession airports saw little investors' interest in Enugu and Port Harcourt, but noted that the situation is now changing under the current administration. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba said the project marks a new phase of economic opportunity for the region, adding that the concession will improve connectivity, reduce logistic costs, and enhance the Southeast competitiveness. The concessionaire, Aero Alliance Limited, pledged to transform the airport into a major regional aviation and logistic hub while assuring stakeholders of improved service and also operational efficiency. With that news, we need to go on a break now, but when we do come, more news as it concerns the foreign scene and sports. Come on, join us again.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
And on the foreign scene, the United Nations International Maritime Organization has suspended the Strait of Hormuz evacuation initiative after a cargo vessel came under attack in the Gulf of Oman. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operation says the ship was struck by projectile while sailing near Oman's coast, with maritime security sources suspecting it was targeted by a drone. Now, the evacuation operation launched earlier this week was designed to help about 600 stranded ships and 11,000 mariners leave the Gulf through designated route after the recent U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran disrupted maritime traffic. Now, the attack vessel, identified as Singapore-flagged Ever Lovely, was not part of the IMO evacuation program. Now, the IMO Secretary General, Asino Dionages, says the operation has been paused to verify what safety guarantees remain in place before evacuation resumes. The suspension comes hours after Iran warned ships not to transit the Strait of Hormuz without Tehran's permission and ordered some vessels to change course. Shipping through the strategic waterway remains below normal levels despite recent diplomatic effort to ease tension. Maritime authorities said operators are continuing to navigate the region cautiously, while Oman says any future evacuation of stranded vessels will be carried out in phases to reduce risks. Still on the foreign scene, international rescue teams have joined the search for survivors in Venezuela after two powerful earthquakes struck the country on Wednesday, June the 24th, leaving widespread destruction. Authorities said the death toll has now risen to 235, while more than 4,300 people have been injured and hundreds are still believed to be trapped beneath collapsed buildings. Now, on Friday, which is today, June 26, countries including Brazil, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Cuba, El Salvador, and the United States, alongside the United Nations, continue to send rescue workers, medical teams, and humanitarian aid. United Nations Aid Chief Tom Fletcher pledged that every effort is being made to reach those still trapped under the rebels. The worst hit areas include the coastal state of La Grecia, where more than 100 buildings have collapsed and at least 70,000 families have been affected. Venezuela's main international airport remains closed due to damage, while volunteers and emergency workers continue rescue operations aimed among fears of more building collapse. Now, the United States has announced a major emergency response, while Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Cuba, and El Salvador have all deployed rescue teams and relief supplies. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society have also released emergency funding as Venezuela struggles to recover from one of its deadliest earthquakes in its history. And in the ever-exciting world of sports, Nigerians enjoyed a standout night at the 2026 NBA Draft on Thursday, June 26, where 6 players of Nigerian heritage selected at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Now, the group was led by Felix Okpara and Ogbonna Onyeso, making a rare double selection for Nigerian-born players in the same draft year. Ebuka Okore was the highest first-round pick among them, going 17th overall at the Oklahoma City Thunder, with his right later traded to the Detroit Pistons. Zubie Ejiofor followed at 23rd overall, selected by the Atlanta Hawks, as Nigerian-linked players made a strong impact early in the draft. Now, in the second round, Felix Okpara was picked for the 6th overall by the Orlando Magic. Otega Owe went for the first at the Miami Heat, while Toby Lawan was selected 48th by the Dallas Mavericks. Ogbonna was taken 53rd overall by the Houston Rockets, with his right later expected to move to the Detroit Pistons. Now, the strong showing highlights Nigerians' growing presence in global basketball talent development, with more than 10 players of African origin or descent selected overall, underscoring the continent's rising influence in the world of basketball. Still talking sport, the United States suffered a 3-2 defeat to Turkey on Thursday, June the 26th, in an entertaining but ultimately inconsequential World Cup group match in Los Angeles, as both sides had already secured their respective tournament position. Now, despite taking an early lead through Austin Trusty and fighting back after going behind, the United States team, which made 9 changes, conceded a stoppage time winner to Kaan Yahan, handling Turkey a late victory after a spirited performance. Turkey, who had struggled throughout the group stage, finally found the attacking rhythm through Ada Gula and Bant Alpha Yilmaz, while the Americans briefly restored parity through Sebastian Bahata, strike early in the second half. U.S. coach Mauricio Pochettino said the result will not derail his side's progress, stressing that squad rotation and preparation for the knockout stage were prioritized over the outcome of the match. Well, anyway, with that sporting news, we need to go check what the weather will look like for major cities across Nigeria today. Well, it's predicted to be a rainy day today in some cities across Nigeria, as much as it's going to be a rainy weekend. But anyway, with the weather forecast, that brings us to the end of the news on Atlantic TV. I still remain Michael Gobadia. God bless you. Have a great weekend ahead.